Hi, sweethearts. I want to make a really personal video now, and I'm not sure how long it's going to be. It's just a few things that I wanted to talk about with regard to my spirituality and my life, aside from my spiritual practice, and how the two have kind of converged lately and given me something quite hopeful, but also quite raw as well. I feel like I'm at kind of a crossroads in some ways, particularly with regard to what I'm doing for work and stuff like that. And something really came together for me today in an astounding way, which I feel really had something to do with the presence of my patron deity and the aspects of her dark energy in my life. So I'm just going to start by saying, about 2 weeks ago now, I was walking home from work and I was in a state of really profound thought. I was feeling really pensive. I was thinking about like life, love, the universe, and everything, I guess. And on the way into my neighbourhood, I saw two big black birds, and one was stood on one pavement and one was on the other. And I could see myself walking towards them, and I knew that neither of them were going to fly off. They seemed kind of like quite robust and confident, and I knew that I was going to approach them and I was going to walk through them. And my patron deity is Hel, the Norse goddess of the underworld, and she was given the realm of Helheim by Odin. Odin has two ravens in Norse mythology called Thought and Memory, and they fly out into the kingdom every morning and they pick up thoughts and memories, they pick up the news, and they take the news back to Odin at night and kind of like whisper into his ears what's been going on. Hel is also popularly personified in the animal kingdom as a raven. People often think of a raven as a symbol of Hel, the goddess. There is also a popular misconception, I think it's a misconception at least, correct me if I'm wrong, but some people posit the idea that it was Hel who gave the ravens thought and memory to Odin as a gift, to say thank you to him for giving her the realm of Helheim. But I don't think that's written in any of the Norse texts, but do correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never really seen any evidence of that aside from stuff posited on websites. And Hel has been my patron deity now for about 2 years, and I've never really found that reference in Norse mythology itself, but it's quite a nice popularised idea. So I'm walking between these two birds, and as I approach them, I realise that they're probably not large enough to be ravens. So I was getting quite excited because I thought, God, this is really symbolic. This is something that I really feel like I need to see at this point in my life. I feel like it's really the personified presence of Hel in the tangible realm for me, giving me kind of like a kick up the arse in some way. But as I approached the birds, I realised that they were probably more likely to be crows, which in itself is extremely cool, particularly if you're into the Morrigan or anything like that. Um, but for me personally, thinking that they were ravens and then approaching them, I was like, oh, okay, so it's kind of not really Hel specific, if you like. Anyway, about a week ago, I had my first ever dream about the goddess Hel, which is really important, obviously, because as my patron deity, for her to show up in the dream realm, or the astral realm as I like to call it, is a pretty big deal. And I dreamed that she was like 7 foot tall. And I didn't dream her to be half skeleton, half maiden. But then again, in the dream, I didn't look directly at her as a sign of respect. I kind of kept my eyes to the ground, but I saw her in my peripheral vision. I was going through a really, really thick forest. It was kind of like a thick European cold kind of forest, like North European, and I was with my animus. If you don't know a lot about Jungian dream theory, an animus is basically like the male representation of you, but personified in another form, and normally he guides you through your dream if you're a woman, and for a female it would be the anima. So I was with this animus, and we were going through this thick forest, and basically we turned left at a certain point, and there was a sign that said Helheim, and then I knew that we were in the realm of Hel, and then I saw Hel, and she was like 7, 8 feet tall, and I thought that if we tried to pass and go into the realm of Helheim that she would somehow stop us or approach us, but she didn't. She was calm and she just let us go in, and then I woke up. So that was a really big progression for me with regard to Hel as a deity whose energies I kind of embody and work with in practice and stuff like that. So that was interesting. Anyway, today I had a really difficult day. As a few of you know, I've been off work for 2 weeks with my chronic back pain, and I went back to work almost 2 weeks ago now, after that kind of having half a month off and getting fast tracked for physiotherapy and being on a whole cocktail of drugs all over again. And it's been 10 years with this chronic pain now, so it's been really difficult. And I've had a very low period as a result of coming to terms with the fact that a lot of my issues with regard to my injury and my pain are still not sorted out. And it kind of makes me worry about my future in terms of my physical well-being and stuff. So it's a scary kind of time for me when I think about it too deeply. And coming back into the work environment has been difficult. It's been difficult for me to stay focused. It was difficult at first with regard to getting my pain management right for the office so that I wasn't drowsy from the medication and stuff as well. And also, my job, although it pays the rent and although it's a lot better than a lot of other jobs that I could be doing, and although I love the people that I work with, it's not where I want to drop anchor. And I think that for a great many people watching this and for a great many people the world over, their job is not the be all and end all. It's not what they really want to do. They have other aspirations. Their job is a stopgap, or their job is a way of paying for them to be able to access what they really do want to do in terms of study or in terms of different opportunities that they may not be able to chase without the paper to do so. And today, my boss had a little chat with me, and he's not actually been my manager for that long, but he's been great. He's been a great morale booster for the team. He's got a great kind of spirit to him. He's got that lovely Northern Irish belly laugh, and he's a really sweet character, and I like him a lot. And he basically approached me to talk to me about my progress over the month and to talk to me about my stats and stuff like that. And he mentioned to me that he really didn't feel that I wanted to be there as much as some of the other people on the team. And I'm getting raw now, so I really don't know whether or not I'm going to put this up, but I'm gonna try to be brave enough to upload it. Basically, he said that he didn't feel that I wanted to be there as much as some of the other people on the team, and the way I responded was just basically by saying, look, you know that this isn't anybody's dream situation. The people here either want to climb to management level or they want to leave and do something which more resonates with their character. It's not, the height of aspiration. It's a certain way of making money and maintaining stability whilst at the same time having a nice time and being able to earn some more money if you put the extra work in. It's not where anybody wants to drop anchor, and you know that. And he said, yeah, well, I totally know that. I know it's not anyone's dream job, but I mean, you specifically are not as happy here as everyone else. And he said to me, you're too intelligent for this kind of work. You have a high IQ, so your mind wanders. And he said, you've got a lot to give, and I don't feel that you can see yourself giving it in this environment. So I think you tend to kind of like wander off in your head more than other people on the team would. And this was really hard for me because I knew that even though on the surface he was trying to say to me, let's get back to where you were before you had the time off, let's address the issues, let's focus on what's not working. Deeper down, on a deeper level, he was saying to me, follow your bliss. You obviously know what your bliss is. You obviously feel it inside of you. You should be following it. And it was almost as though he was saying to me, you can't do anything else at this point in your life but follow it. And I felt defensive, and I felt a little bit nauseous actually, because on the one hand I was angry with him for kind of playing psychologist with me and trying to put something really brutal out there which I may not really even want to talk about in the work environment. I kind of felt a little bit like, well, give me the stats, give me the 411, what's the situation, what do you want me to do? As a manager, don't sit there and psychoanalyse me. That's not what I need in the work environment. I don't want that kind of discussion with you. But on the other hand, I thought to myself, no, wait, hold this for a moment. Take this feeling for a moment, this uncomfortable feeling, this nauseous feeling, and be with it. Center yourself around it, align yourself with it, because you're feeling that way for a reason, and it's probably a little bit of a gift to you. Even though it makes you want to cry, and even though it makes you want to not get on with your job for the rest of the day, it's probably somewhat of a gift to you. And the rest of the day was tough. I'm going to say it because I know that I have bypassed several opportunities in my past, several big opportunities, particularly with regard to journalism and stuff like that. Not direct job offers, but certain followings I was getting, certain praise I got, certain things, avenues that I could have gone down, certain things that I was invited to cover in London with regard to eco-fashion and stuff that I didn't bother going to because I felt a bit low, or because I felt like I wanted to hang out with my friends instead. I didn't give it 100% dedication. I didn't appreciate how lucky I was to have those opportunities. And now I feel like I have to start again from scratch in a great many ways. And I do self-sabotage, and I kind of wanted to explain that to him when he was saying, in your interview you told me you'd done several things that were to do with journalism, and you told me you'd done this, and you told me that you'd done healthcare. you're obviously passionate about words and you're obviously passionate about language. Maybe you should be pushing yourself towards something like that instead of being here and kind of like, I don't know what he was trying to say, rotting, I suppose, or whatever. But I wanted to say to him, you know, one, I have issues with self-sabotage, and that much is becoming obvious to me as I'm getting older. But the second thing is, you know, times are tough. It's very difficult. The job market's a nightmare, and everybody's trying to find that thing that they want to do, and everybody's having those same frustrations. I mean, I don't know that many people. I could count on this hand the people I know in my friend group who are living the life that they really felt they wanted to live 5 years ago or 10 years ago, who are really on the path, the trajectory in life that they feel they were supposed to be on when they were at university or when they were at school. For the vast majority of us, when it comes to what we do to make a crust, we're not there yet. And I wanted to say that as well, but I didn't want to justify myself. I wanted to sit with that feeling of discomfort because I know I'm not following my bliss. I know I'm trying, but I know in a lot of ways I'm falling short. And I needed to own that. I needed to own that uncomfortable feeling. So I stayed very quiet and I listened to what he had to say and I tried to own that uncomfortable feeling. And as I was walking home from work when I left the office, I felt so deflated, so confused, so mixed up. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to just begin my counselling studies immediately. I mean, the spiritual counselling thing is done and dusted, but I want to do other courses to do with more specialised aspects of counselling as well. I couldn't decide whether to go and do that. I've got a couple of articles I need to write up, interviews that I've done with certain people that I haven't put out there yet. I was thinking maybe I should do that instead. And I was thinking about spending some time doing some other things. I was considering looking for a new job as soon as I got home, just thinking, sod it, what's the point in working towards it? What's the point in trying to improve? What's the point in trying to recover my progress from where it was before I had the 2 weeks off? Why don't I just go and find something else and, you know, be discontented there instead? And then suddenly I got a text from my boyfriend and I was about 2 minutes away from home and it was freezing cold. The snow was just about gone, but there were certain little licks of it and patches of it here and there, this white snow, and it was freezing. I could see my breath in front of my face, and I got this text from my boyfriend, and it just said, I'm looking at 2 big black ravens in the back garden. And I could not believe it. I literally teared up in the street, and I sped up towards home, and I was just hoping like mad that those ravens would still be in the backyard when I got in. And I got in and he was in the kitchen looking through the window and I said, are they still there? And he said, yeah. And I saw them and they were sat together on a tree in the garden behind mine. And it just almost looked like they were there for me. They were big and they were glorious and they were the colour of my hair. And it really felt like a gift and I broke down. And that's kind of like a little bit of synchronicity, I guess, between a few of the things that were going on with hell and that whole aspect of my spirituality, wanting a sign, wanting a symbol, wanting a little kind of pick-me-up from the universe, and then the way it came at the perfect time, the way that I thought I had it and I didn't have it, and then it came at the perfect time. She came along at the time I really needed her, and she just gave me that boost. She gave me that warmth. It surrounded my heart and it just fortified me. And now I feel like I know I'm at a crossroads, but I know that the universe is on my side and I know that I can receive as much as I want to receive. I know that I can open myself up to receive as I want to. And I know that my spirituality and my happiness are tied together and have always been rather inexplicably tied together throughout my entire life on this planet. And so that's my little story. And that's where I am at the moment. I'm going through some changes in the outer world. I feel that the inner realms and my spirituality, my path, my practice is strengthening all the time. But in the outer world, I feel there's a crossroads, and I feel that my spirituality is holding my hand through that in a big way right now, particularly with regard to what just happened to me earlier today. And just as an aside, after this really deep video, if you've managed to make it this far, I have been invited recently to join an NYC-based company called Happify, who have teamed up with some leading life coaches, entrepreneurs and scientists to discuss ways to use positive psychology to promote happiness as a skill and to make ourselves feel more content and more able to live life to the full and so on. What they've basically done is created a bunch of games, quizzes, applications that can be used by people to measure their happiness level, improve their happiness level and focus focus on the weak points in their happiness in their lives and see if they can kind of come to understand where their happiness comes from and how to posit it more fully into each aspect of their lives. It's in the beta version at the moment, so you can't actually join as a member of the public, but they have selected some people to test drive it as pioneers, and I was invited by the creator, Andy, to test drive it. He saw my blog, he liked what I was writing about, and he asked me if I'd like to be a pioneer, and I said, yeah, I'd love to. I mean, positive psychology is a big part of what I'm all about, so, and it seemed like they were using a lot of those techniques. So I've joined it as a pioneer, and I've done a few exercises on it every day. They give you a track, so whether it's stress management or whether it's relationship issues, whatever it is, and they give you certain activities to do, certain things to write about, and you can interact and connect with other people in the Happify community and comment on each other's posts and build a network kind of thing. So it's a really, really cool idea, and it is going to be made public and people are going to be able to use it, but at the moment it's in beta version, and because I've completed a certain number of the activities, I've been given 5 invites to give away to other people. All I need to do to invite you is to get your email address, and then I send you an invite to Happify, and then you can join as a pioneer and test drive stuff. So I need to give them a reason why I have given you the invite. So what I would suggest you do, if you want an invite to Happify and you want to see what it's all about and you want to be able to do these activities, it's really, really simple to use. It's a really colourful, beautiful website, and I think it's going to do really, really well. Honestly, it's not complex, it's really nurturing, it's really fun. If you want to be a part of Happify, click the link below, which will take you to my blog, to the post where I am offering these 5 invites, and leave me a comment just basically giving me your email address and letting me know why you would like a Happify invite. And the first 5 invites that I've been given, I will be given more in the future, but these first 5 will be given to the 5 people who respond, who want an invite, and who I feel have a really good reason for wanting to join Happify. So yeah, if you want to join and you want to be given an invite, just let me know over on the blog. It's really easy to do. There's no, like, you don't have to fill out anything, whatever. You just write your comment, put your email address in, and away we go. You could be given an invite to Happify to test drive it. So if that's something you want to do, go over to the blog and do your thing. Blessed be. Thank you so much for listening.